close. Sanders covers off and contact. Everybody hangs on. Dakota DeMade in the grass. They're 3 wide for second. There goes Caleb Bensey through to the top spot. Patton back to third. Bensey to first. Sanders in second. Hangs on to the truck.
Oh, and Ellison gets loose and then comes back into... Actually, Poliski gets loose on his own, too, and Steve Roman just plows right in the back of him.
It is so easy to do. The back end of the truck kicks out on you around that turn. It is very hard to control.
You see Bensey just wheel hops, goes way past into the runoff area in turn 1, and Sanders goes through. Oh, Patton, the crossover again!
Patton may send it deep here. No, he doesn't. Bensey does, though. He's going to hang on to it, but leaves the door open for Patton again. Bensey loose. Those rear tires are screaming for help. Oh, and Patton. Whoa, Patton's around. He locks it down, but he's off the track and backwards. So he is going to drop third to Dakota DeMade. Well, Gavin Sanders led the most laps at Watkins Glen, lagged out of the sim, finished 24th. This time through turn 15, Gavin Sanders will not be denied. Gavin Sanders is a winner in Truck 200. Where is Caleb Bensey? I don't see Caleb Bensey. Well, Dakota DeMade
crash?
I have no idea.
Did he run out of gas?
I have no idea, but Dakota DeMade is going to finish in second. Scott Patton then is back on the podium. After crowning a first-time winner last week in the twists and turns of Interlagos, tonight we keep that same energy with our first ever sunrise race and our first ever trip to the Big Oval, the world center of racing. The high banks of Daytona International Speedway host the 10th round of the inaugural season of Truck 200, and it is about time for the Scan the Beach Cowards 200 to get underway. We'll have all the racing action for you when we come back. Racing at Daytona with Truck 200 is around the turn on turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. We are back to live coverage here on Turn 200, getting ready for the Scan the Beach Cowards 200 for Truck 200. It's the broadcast boys at it again. It's Tommy Cook. It's our resident beach bum, Mr. Matt Williamson. And it is time for a race that starts at night and ends in the sunshine. There are so many reasons to look forward to tonight's race. What are you looking forward to in particular here tonight, partner?
I'm just ready to get back to some pack style racing here. In Truck 200, our season opener was at Talladega, and we really haven't had a race like it since. So I'm ready to see what our driver's going to be able to do here. We have some underdogs that might be able to get a victory here tonight. That's always something to look forward to. But let's go ahead and look at the points going into tonight as well. Currently, Joe Yakes still sits atop your leaderboard. Of course, Justin Michael was not present at Interlagos last week, so he still sits in second, but does not. He's actually a little bit farther behind than he was a week ago in the points. Steve Roman, TJ Bartel, and Paul Ellison round out the top five. Gavin Sanders, who won last week, now sits in seventh. Of course, he's missed quite a few races here in the season. So that's kind of what we're looking towards in the points. Tonight is going to be one where you can either make up a lot of ground or lose a lot of ground. So you need to know when to be patient and when to push.
Absolutely, and looking through that graphic, yeah, it's so strange coming off of such a weird week last week in Interlagos. Not just because of the track itself being weird, but or the fact that we ran there, I guess, being weird. But the field is literally cut in half from what we have tonight here. We've got 29 drivers registered for this session. 28 of them are here right now. And a couple of drivers getting some love in the chat. One of them, I guess, is rooting on himself, Hunter Leach there in the chat. But Potato 101 says, hoping that Mike can get the win here tonight. Of course, referring to Michael Fish, who is back for the second week in a row with Truck 200. And I tell you what, drivers had the opportunity to get the leg up on this setup last night. You and I were there, and only two other drivers came out. One of them was Michael Fish. The other one right now is on provisional pole. That's Roland Holtz. So the two drivers that maximized their opportunity, so to speak, last night.
Yeah, and you and I, of course, raced in that as well. And I will say it is the setup is not what I was expecting. The setup is pretty finicky, in my opinion. It seems like you're kind of tight in the corners, and then all of a sudden it feels like you're incredibly loose. So it's quite a handful. Of course, I kind of made a misstep in some of my steering ratios on accident, but I still think it races that way nonetheless, whether you are smart about that or not. So I think it's going to be a bit of a handful. I think there might need to be some patience used tonight. Otherwise, we might see some big incidents early.
And there are a couple other get-ups with this setup as well. I still don't really know how, if anybody was here with us with the Talladega season opener, that setup was just all around weird. I think this setup is stable for the most part, but when it's not stable, it is, like you said, it is hard to reel in. And speaking of hard to reel in, it's actually... it takes some persistence to, once you fall off of the draft just a little bit, to actually get back up with the leaders. It takes some follow through.
Yeah, I was kind of discussing this with somebody else a little bit earlier today that you got to put together your run a little bit earlier than you normally would, I think. Normally I feel like you would kind of start to try to, like, if you want to make a run on the backstretch, you would kind of start right after the start-finish line and try to get a good run through the corners and make sure you're hammered down, ready to go for that push right off of turn 2 onto the backstretch. With this setup, it seems like you got to start almost a whole lap early to make any ground up. Our drivers are going to have to feel it out tonight. It's not what I was expecting for sure.
Well, Justin Michael, you saw there at the end of his qualifying lap, he took the Raja Caruth line down and over the rumble strip there and hit the little ramp. I say that because when Raja ran with us on the Daytona Charity Shootout, that that is how he made his grand exit from Daytona International Speedway. So a lot of drivers hoping to avoid a similar fate here tonight. And we did mention it earlier. Right now, the sim time is 5:49 a.m. Sunrise rather is set for 6:37 a.m. So it's going to be right towards the end of this race is when the sun is going to start to peek out over the high walls and the high banks of Daytona International Speedway here.
Yeah, it's definitely different than what I think most people are used to. Usually it's either just a total night race or a racing in the afternoon. So the sun is actually going to be more in your face in turns 1 and 2 rather than 3 and 4 like normal. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of a different feel, but I think it's going to be exciting for sure.
And with that, the final seconds of qualifying are going to tick away. And for the second time in his Truck 200 career, we are going to have a pole position from Roland Holt, the driver of truck number 50. Grabs this pole here tonight at Daytona. And a driver celebrating a special occasion starting his outside. The Rain Man, Garrett Rainey, is celebrating a birthday here today. And boy, he won our Truck 200 recruitment race at iRacing Super Speedway. So he is a guy that always looks forward to these high banks and high speeds, and he gets to start on the outside of the front row. Steve Roman, your winner of the inaugural 200 at Talladega, he lines up on the inside of row number 2 with Paul Ellison, always a threat here on the super speedways, to his outside. Scott Patton, Jeremy McKinnon is back in the field. They line up on row number 3. Justin Michael needing a big point stay here tonight. He will start in 7th with Ryan Dye, a podium finisher from Talladega, starting to his outside. Caleb Bensi and Dakota DeMade, teammates there on row number 5 to round out your top 10 starters. On row number 6 on the inside, Jacob Houston with TJ Bartel to his outside. He's back in the field here today, as is the Intimidator, Nathan Reynolds. On the inside of row number 7 with the super speedway threat, he led the most laps at Talladega, Kyle Zittel will start in 14th. Jeff Langston back at the field. He starts at 15th with his teammate Andy Poliski starting to his outside. Jeff Smith and Michael Fish then on row number 9. And rounding out row number 10 on the inside, it is last week's winner, Gavin Sanders, deep in the field with James Lehman starting to his outside. The points leader starts 21st. Joe Yates in the 87 with some work to do. Brantley Gainey will be starting to his outside in truck 22 in the 22nd position. Will Salamone, Adam Cantwell then on row number 12 with Luke Peterson and then Devin Armstrong. Actually, not Devin Armstrong. My apologies. It'll be Luke Peterson and Troy Thomas. And then the debuting Anthony Radel is joining us here tonight for the very first time in that lovely Miller Lite 21 truck. He will start in 27th. Then with Hunter Leach 28th and Devin Armstrong, if he is here, rounding out the field here tonight in P29. All righty, Matt, let's get some track conditions and some of what we're expecting here tonight at Daytona, if we can expect anything at all.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at the weather first of all here. A cool 84 degrees for Daytona, so 85 degrees on the track temperature here to start out. Fuel windows probably around 30 laps here. Might be able to stretch it 1 or 2 more, I think. 3 extra sets of tires, as always. Not that you're going to really need them a whole lot here at Daytona, but they do come in handy, I think, maybe specifically with this setup. So that is actually something to keep in mind. And as always, and it is very prevalent here, there are no fast repairs in Truck 200. I think we have the largest field we've had since week 3 or 4. I would like to say that things are going to be easy in the beginning and then they'll kind of pick up towards the end, but I really don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to see an all-out brawl to start this thing for track position, but that's just my opinion.
It may not even be on purpose, but there'll definitely be some knockout punches thrown early in this one. We had 3 cautions at Talladega. We had a photo finish. And it seems like that was forever ago, but that was still this season. 9 races ago. And now, 9 races later, we're right back to super speedway action. with some new characters, some recurring characters. And this is called Scan the Beach Cowards 200. But there are no cowards on the track here tonight. And no cowards up front, certainly. Roland Holt, Garrett Rainey to the green. We are racing at Daytona for the first time in Truck 200. Top line getting formed up, getting a big push there. Garrett Rainey is clear down if he wants it, but he may elect to stick with Paul Ellison. Now here comes the bottom. And Roland Holt pushes back out ahead. He leads lap number 1.
And as long as, if both lines have their stuff together, I think we're going to see more of this bottom line prevail. I think it might take a couple of mistakes for this top line to really get moving.
See how the numbers game is going to shake out as Caleb Bensey rolls out of it down the back straightaway, below the yellow line. Garrett Rainey off the top side is now going to lead lap number 2. And he's going to drop down. Ellison not clear, can't go with him. With the birthday boy up front at Daytona.
And they've proved me wrong yet again. That outside line actually working together pretty well early on here. Rainey was able to clear out in front and get down to the bottom. Now Ellison's pulled up right next to him. They're not very tight on the outside there, though.
No, they are not. It's 3 on the outside versus 4 on the inside, and the 3 on the outside aren't very tight, except for McKinnon, who is pushing Ellison. He pushes him by a nose out to the top spot, but not clear by a long shot. Purple lap of the session right now belongs to Hunter Leach.
Hunter Leach using that draft out in the back to obtain that purple lap of the race so far. He's hanging out in 25th right now. We see him do that a lot in super speedway races. No surprise there. Ellison pulls down to the bottom.
Woo! He was clear for the longest time, and then he waited until he wasn't clear to make the move down. But he gets it done regardless. Now McKinnon is the first man up on the outside, with help from Ryan Dye and Dakota DeMaine behind him now.
And I was actually right about something for once. It's we're battling pretty hard here in the early goings.
Contact further back in the field between Houston, Langston, and Reynolds. They all pick up 4Xs, but they all keep it pointed in the right direction, I think. As here goes Roland Holt now to the outside.
He's going to need some help. There's a good truck and a half gap between him and McKinnon. They'll need to close in.
Lap number 5 goes in the books. Pretty tense racing all the way through the field here. McKinnon trying to give a shot here to Roland Holt to get him out front once again and clear. Dakota DeMaine rolls out of it down the back straightaway. There goes Holt. Jeremy McKinnon is in a role we usually don't see him as the great advancer here on the outside. He's pushing other people up to the front. Last time we saw McKinnon at Daytona, he was leading the charge. He won the Venom Truck Series Season 5 opener here.
Yeah, I mean, he is a perennial favorite at these tracks, and you can see early on people are going to be comfortable working with him. He's pushed 3 of them out to the front already, so he's making a name for himself to be somebody to work with as this race progresses, and there towards the end, that's going to put him in some good positions.
So I believe Team Policed by Echo Blade on Steam has lost the draft, perhaps intentionally, down the back straightaway. Jeff Smith has also lost the draft by quite a bit. He's nearly half a lap down at this point. And that's actually Gavin Sanders and Jeff Langston. My apologies. So Gavin Sanders lost the draft. Oh, Garrett Rainey. Oh, man, gets really loose up front.
We've talked about it quite a bit. Our practice yesterday in these, that tri-oval, it was really easy to pull that truck down where your left wheels get down to that apron, and that is not good. You slow down, you get really loose, and if people behind you aren't paying attention and that happens, they can run you over pretty quickly, and that's going to create some chaos. So that's going to be something to watch, especially as we get a little bit farther into these runs, and if a couple people don't take tires for quite a while, I think that's going to start happening a little bit more.
And I'll correct my correction because Gavin Sanders does have help from Dakota DeMade. They don't have damage, but they've lost the draft. Jeff Langston does have damage, and he has lost the draft. That's lap number 9. And McKinnon and Ryan Dye. Ryan Dye in the 2 super speedway races we've seen from him in the Venom Truck Series, as well as the... well, actually, I'll say the Truck 200 race at Talladega was the exception because he was pretty racy in that, but the Venom Truck Series races in the super speedways, he usually is lying in wait for most of them and then strikes at the end. But he actually led the very first lap in Truck 200 competition, so he was getting after it right away. The best look that McKinnon has had to the outside of Roland Holt thus far. So he'll get some help down the back straightaway here. Actually down the, yeah, down the back straightaway. I just lost where I was at on the track. Holy cow. If you go all the way back behind Anthony and Radel, we have 7 trucks in this outside line. Is that enough to really get this rolling?
I mean, I think it would be. I mean, honestly, we didn't see a whole lot pushing on the outside as we see McKinnon pull out in front of Roland Holt to take that lap in the lead. I think they're going to have to stick pretty close together. They're kind of spread out right now. But I do think it's possible for them to still at least maintain pace. McKinnon may never get right out in front and be able to pull down, but I don't think they're going to lose ground here. But you're right, we have a very large line on the bottom just kind of hanging out. Among them is Joe Yakes, who is your series points leader.
Yeah, Joe Yakes' biggest misstep of the season, I think, was getting caught in an accident late at Talladega. That's really the only time that he's faltered, although, of course, it was no fault of his own. It's just kind of how it happens late in the going at Talladega. But hoping to avoid a similar fate here tonight. He won the Goat Locker Truck Series season opener at Daytona this season.
And everybody's pretty close together here, but really way less action. I don't know if action's the right word, but maybe mayhem than I kind of thought there would be with this setup. I thought there would be some mistakes have been made already, which we've seen one or two, but nothing really major. So everybody's doing a pretty good job here.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster, what you just did right there.
I'm thinking about going to a crank it up just to see if we can make something happen.
Oh, God. All right. Well, as the outside line is starting to fight back a little bit, starting to pick up some more numbers, I believe James Lehman just jumped to the outside, so now may be a good time. I'll leave it up to you, partner.
Alrighty, well, we still have quite a few laps before we're going to be coming for pit stops, so let's go ahead. Let's crank this thing up.
Alrighty.
All right, Tommy, talk to me here. Just as I thought there was going to be no pitting, we had a few people come down pit road.
Yeah, Bandit Motorsports calls an audible, and they get themselves out of the pack and onto pit road. They all get on and off clean, no penalties. But, yeah, certainly a mix-up here. So they are working down the back straightaway, about to enter turn number 3 right now. So they've got a straightaway and change before they get swallowed up by the leaders here. Assuming that they do before pit stops ensue here, which we think could probably be in the next 15 laps or so for everybody.
Yeah, I definitely think I think around 15, maybe 17. We're going to see everybody come down. I was trying to remember what our fuel strategy was here. I think at Daytona, at Talladega, we can go about 27, 28 laps in the trucks. So it should be at least 2, if not 3 or 4 laps more here at Daytona, probably.
Bottom line is getting pretty spread out, especially behind Steve Roman. A lot of space being given right now. But the top line is not in a position to strike.
No, we still got a lot of people riding around on the bottom. I thought we'd see a little bit more aggression here early on from that top line, and it just really hasn't happened.
The bobble from Garrett Rainey further back, I thought maybe would open the door for Jeremy McKinnon to get up there, especially with some great help from Ryan Dye, but that is not the case now. And one thing that we've kind of brought up and is a good sentiment to be echoed from the Bandit Motorsports pit stops. Oh, Anthony Radel just got up into the wall and keeps it rolling. Man, there's I guess that was a good thing that there weren't a lot of people on that top line, and that could be really big. But one thing we haven't really talked about is team dynamics.
No, we haven't, and you are going to see a lot of, actually, I think like 8 of the top 10 or 7 of the top 10 are all from the Venom Truck Series right now, so very familiar with each other. Oh, as McKinnon goes to the inside.
Oh, we got a lap truck coming up. Jeff Smith, who is going to stay high and out of the way of the leaders here. But, man, McKinnon dropping down into the bottom and getting real loose as he does.
He's been working that top side all night long and now decides to go to the bottom.
Smith nudges up into the wall, but everybody gets by cleanly. And he should be able to latch on to the draft here, I would imagine. Top 5, all single file on the bottom. Now make it the top 6. It's Roland Holt, Paul Ellison, Jeremy McKinnon, Garrett Rainey, Ryan Dye, Steve Roman.
And we have some moving and shaking going on back here to get to the bottom. Zittel just ditched the outside lane. Steve Roman was on the bottom already. He's going to leave. I believe that's Bartel, Reynolds, and Radel on the outside. As Gainey dropped down to the bottom as well. So maybe we have less fuel here than I thought. It seems like everybody's maybe settling in for pit stops.
Jeff Langston just spun onto pit road entry, so that sort of makes a bad night go a little bit worse here at this point.
While this is happening, that outside lane still trying to make an effort to get towards the front. They stalled out for a little bit.
And it's just a tandem out there for the most part. And we saw some smaller packs be really successful at Talladega. There were a couple of drivers that were able to get pretty much solo car runs out and up to the front. See how much further they can go. They pulled all the way up to Jeremy McKinnon in third, just with the two of them.
You see your points leader, Joe Yates, trying to make a couple of moves there towards the back. He's kind of been bobbing and weaving his way as those two on the outside have caught the lead pack, and Bartel was nearly clear into turn 1.
And Reynolds has damage, don't forget. He got caught up with whatever happened to Jeff Langston. Look at the rear spoiler of that truck. It is bowed in. So that is ultra impressive from these two.
Odd Potato hops in, says, even this league, I can't avoid what feels like the inevitable, the old choo-choo train. And I'm honestly a little bit surprised here. I think this is just a choice from the drivers. We've seen 3 drivers be able to clear on the outside early in the race. I think it's just a choice from everybody to be a little bit conservative here, but that outside lane's going to end up working.
Gavin Sanders, Dakota DeMade have wrecked by themselves out in the back of the field.
My goodness.
I don't know what happened there. But it was Dakota slowed down. I don't think he ever got spun out. And we're calling multi-truck accidents. And that Gavin Sanders was the only one that really got spun out and stopped. Wow. Wonder if there's some netcode involved in that one.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can take a look here when we get an opportunity. Melissa Reynolds also in the chat cheering on Nathan. Nathan, if you're listening, she says that mom's pulling for you. So let's get TJ out to the front, get him clear, and maybe you'll be next.
He's got some help coming behind him, an average truck number behind him of 20.5. Anthony Radel, Michael Fish coming to help the cause here on the outside. Here's Gavin Sanders. Maybe get a better look at the truck there. It doesn't look too, at least on the left in the front and the tail.
The right rear is crinkled.
Okay,
it looks like.
What I was about to say is I couldn't see the right side of that truck. As TJ Bartell led across the line that time, he is not clear to come down. But the top line gets really good runs down the back straightaway here. This may be the chance for maybe one or both of these drivers to get clear and get down. And there goes Nathan Reynolds.
Chooses to.
And now Reynolds has help from his teammate, Roland Holt, on the bottom.
Wow, I did not see that one coming.
Bartell waits just a little bit too long, and the Intimidator, sporting the black and silver around Daytona, gets to the front.
Very surprising. Bartell did not pull down when he was that clear. I mean, didn't even look like he was going to try to block the move from Reynolds either. I mean, he just stayed glued up there on the second line.
Bartell now will have help from Anthony Radel. We'll see if those two can mount a similar charge here. But now it's Nathan Reynolds with help from Roland Holt, his teammate, on the bottom of the track here. Got Dakota DeMade, who is going to stay down on the apron. Out of the way. So he will go one lap down. We've got 24 trucks on the lead lap. The last three are the Bandit Motorsports boys, who pit on lap, I believe, 15.
15, yep.
By themselves as a trio. Still awaiting everybody else to hit pit road here. It is lap 27, though. And that is pretty close to the fuel window here, so I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing some pit stops within the next 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close here. If you're on the top side and you're really not gaining any momentum, you're going to want to try to look for places to dive down into the inside line, because if you get left out with just a few of you. Now, what will be interesting is how the pit stop goes for that bottom line. If Reynolds goes and pulls in and everybody comes behind him, those are going to be pretty sloppy pit stops and pit entries. So that could slow down their pit stops a little bit, and that's where Bandit Motorsports is going to gain a little bit of an advantage. Them all coming in together, just the 3 of them, they were able to come in a very orderly fashion and make the most of their stops.
Lap 28, 3 trucks on the outside working against the top 5 on the inside. No takers from the top 10 this time.
And the lap truck, Sanders, joining this outside line now, is going to make it 4.
Deja vu for Sanders. He did this at Talladega when he was multiple laps down. And was a truck possessed up front for a few laps anyway.
And we will go around again. Oh! Radel crept down, really pinching off that bottom line there. Pretty close.
Some of these trucks, I think you hit the nail on the head with the handling of these trucks. Some of them are starting to look pretty wiggly here.
Yeah, I mean, we got green flag pit stops coming up, and nobody will take tires, or at least on purpose. And once we get to the end of that next run, if we go green all the way through, if you're on the inside line going around the tri-oval, it's going to get pretty sketchy. We have some takers here.
Ellison, McKinnon, Rainey, Steve Roman, Ryan Dye.
Oh, Cantwell's into the wall. Joe Yanks is in.
3 trucks torn up on pit road entry there.
Your points leader, Joe Yanks, gets hit by Adam Cantwell, who bounced off. Oh, and he slid through his pit box. He had to reverse.
Big problems here. It's a meatball flag for Adam Cantwell. Nathan Reynolds is hitting from the lead this time.
That is exactly what we were talking about. Those big groups have a harder time getting into the pits. And Joe Yanks gets the worst of it.
Roland Holt trying to maximize his advantage here. But actually, it'll be Nathan Reynolds who gets a better pit entry. Nathan Reynolds, Roland Holt, Michael Fish, Gavin Sanders, Jacob Houston, Caleb Bency, Hunter Leach, Troy Thomas. Much better this time. Meatball flag for Adam Cantwell is already cleared.
Hunter Leach went 2 pit stalls too far.
Oof. So that leaves TJ Bartel and Anthony Radel out on track. They are the last 2 holdouts, the only 2 holdouts. Bartel comes over the radio, says he will be pitting this time. I would imagine Radel is coming with him. And he is. Jeff Smith coming in as well. So these are the last 3.
And now, look at the advantage that Bandit Motorsports has. 11 seconds in front of the rest of the field.
Holy cow.
And extending.
Yeah, the first group is just getting off pit road here, or just getting formed up, rather. Nathan Reynolds and Roland Holt are getting freight trained on the outside now by the Venom Truck Series contingent. And they've got work to do.
Yeah, they have work to do, and they have a lot of work to do.
It was 19 seconds, or rather it was 12 seconds at the line. This last time by. And here's Bartel coming off a pit road. He should be able to get it with no problem.
And most everybody that's in the Venom Truck Series conglomerate should know what to do here. Stay single file because they have to catch the 3 leaders in Patton, Justin Michael, and James Lehman. And if they go double,
seconds. They are
they
losing
double
time.
file, it's not going to work. They're all going to want to stay single file here, which they've done so far.
They were 3.5 tenths slower that last time by than the top 3.
So we're going to start playing the game. How close can we all run together without bunching each other up?
You notice what else is happening? The sun's up.
Oh, the sunset is coming up. Here comes the sun.
Oh, boy. David Helton says, good luck to Reynolds and Holt from GMS Fabrication. So we got some fans of How About Full Sending and Racing Inc. in the chat. I don't know what it is with the drivers picking team names that are a complete mouthful.
Well, there they are, Reynolds and Holt running together right now. Their pit strategy did not work out, but this thing is not even close to being over. A lot of racing left. And Tommy, you're right. This gap is not getting any smaller. In fact, it's getting a bit larger for Patton, Michael, and Lehman.
they are still making up time. Although Troy Thomas at the back of this pack just ran the purple lap of the race. But that energy is not making its way to the front at this time. They were 4/10 slower than the top three.
So this group is just now going into turn 3. Pat and Michael and Lehman are crossing the start-finish line right now. That is how much time needs to be made up. And actually, I don't know how far Dakota DeMade is back. Dakota DeMade might be able to hang on to them as well. It could become 4 trucks. Not sure how much damage he has, if any.
I think he has a little bit too much to hang with these two.
Somebody go around?
Jeff Smith just got turned. Not sure what happened. You're going to have to go and take a look at that.
Yeah, I'm going to see.
He was the only one that I saw.
He's just riding around back here, and there's just a big checkup in the line. And Radel just gets into the back of him, turns him right into the infield. And he glitched into the wall and got thrown backwards. Man, that's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah, that is annoying, to say the least.
Justin Watson back in the chat rooting on Michael Fish. Him and Hunter Leach are back here riding around together. I think they both had suboptimal pit stops during that round of green flaggers. So those two are well off the back of the second pack, actually.
Two drivers have pulled up to the outside there, Caleb Bensey and Gavin Sanders.
Actually, I have somebody else coming with them as well. Is that Bartel?
So yeah, 15 seconds now, the gap between third and fourth.
Justin Watson says we need a caution first. Boys, I was just about to say, a lesser version of me would start thinking about who's going to be the sacrificial lamb to get this field put back together.
I certainly did not have this on my Daytona bingo card, I'll say that. The gap stabilized that time.
Well, the front of this pack, they are all very tight now. Before, Vroman was pushing Rainey pretty hard, but the rest of them were a little bit loosely put together. They're all running a little bit tighter now, so that should help. Actually, looks like they might be gaining a little bit of time here.
Let's see as they come across the line. Yep, they put on 1/10 of a second.
Better than it was.
It is better than it was, yes.
But
things get a little bit broken up further back in the line. To see if they can keep at it here.
My calculation, they have a little bit of a more live timing, I think, than you do, and it looks like they've put on maybe another 10th already.
So we are across halfway that last time by. And it's Justin Michael who needs a big points day, don't forget. He took his provisional at Interlagos last week. So what was a 24-point gap.
And part of this is they are
Shrank
catching
to
another
her.
group.
Yeah, that definitely did help.
Now they're all spread apart, though. This is going to hurt them.
Look at Caleb Benzie work his way up into this group now. Jeremy McKinnon gets shuffled out of line.
Yeah, that was an opportune time if you were not where you wanted to be to try to make a little bit of a pick maneuver with those lap trucks, and quite a few of them did what they needed to, Benzie being the greatest benefactor of it.
So Benzie now rides in 7th. So again, lap 15 is when Bandit Motorsports came into pit. They actually entered the pits on lap 14, came out on lap 15. Everybody else came in on 30, so in theory, we should be seeing Bandit Motorsports pit stops within the next 2 or 3 laps. Betsy jumps back from the bottom to the top.
Your top 3 still staying strong. Did not come down that time around. You kind of thought that might be the lap. It might be the next one. As this second group's getting a little bit more racy here.
Yeah, and they are losing time. They're about to be back outside of 15 seconds once again. Lap truck staying high for Bandit Motorsports as they elect to pass pit road again here. So Michael Fish and Hunter Leach, 20th and 21st, they go a lap down. They'll be the first trucks on the lead lap if we get a caution. Or if we were to get a caution before somebody else goes a lap down. I believe everybody else is in this pack right here. Oh, gosh.
Let's see if these 3 come down this time. The answer is no.
Huh. Interesting.
So we're stretching it out pretty good there for Bandit Motorsports on the fuel strategy.
They've got something figured out, obviously. This reminds me of Stuart Haas at Talladega a few years ago, when those 4 trucks were, or those 4 cars rather, were untouchable. But that one, obviously these trucks are all running the same setup. So it is something purely with the strategy that they have pulled out of the hat here.
And the gap is up to 17 seconds now. So this second group racing each other is not working at all, losing time valuably, and Bandit Motorsports decides to take another one.
Incredible. I believe they are coming this time.
I think they've stretched it about as far as it will go. And that's around 33 laps. So we now know what the limitations are.
Here they come.
Indeed,
Clean
here come the
entries.
top three.
No penalties. And here comes the second group. So now it is Garrett Rainey who will take over the lead. The birthday boy is back out front. Now the question is, when are these guys going to pit? Or can they make it that long without, I don't know, something happening? I will say James Lehman did not get off with his teammates.
Oh.
Something happened to the 0-5, either that or some split strategies, but Patton and Michael got away. Lehman did not, by quite some distance.
Might have taken tires on accident or thought that they were taking tires when they weren't. A little bit of a misstep there.
We'll have to see if it works as well with only 2 trucks, as Garrett Rainey, man, he just blinked out hard.
He did.
I thought he was gone. I went to full scenic cam. Usually when I go scenic, I don't come back. Alrighty, well, if you're hanging out with us here tonight, let us know. Drop us a chat. It's been an interesting race at Talladega. Or Talladega, God. How about at Daytona? Oh, man. Had a couple of solo truck incidents thus far, but nothing huge.
Also, Gavin Sanders is second in line on the outside behind Caleb Benzie. He is actually a lap down, so we need to keep that in mind here as well.
Yes, with Michael Fish and Hunter Leach getting around the leaders who came into pit. And I will say that they sacrificed time to get James Lehman back up with them. So that's, I guess, it's probably the smart play. And it looks visually about the same interval that they were running last time that they pulled this strategy. So I don't think they lost really any time. And maybe they lost the time that they gained after this giant group came into pit last time. If that made any sense.
Yeah, we're here. So this big group that is now in the lead will probably have to come in 10, 11 laps or so here. Rainey has been out front for all of it, so theoretically he's going to have to come in a little bit earlier.
Yes.
And that big group, that bottom lane going through the tri-oval, I'm telling you, it is not easy, especially on the tires the way they are right now. We don't really talk about tires much at Talladega or Daytona, but I guarantee you they're playing at least a little bit of a factor here.
So we have lost Jeff Langston, Adam Cantwell, and Jeff Smith. As James Lehman comes over the radio and says that the sun is blinding. That is part of the reason that I wanted to do that. Hot Florida sun. It's July 17th on the sim. So it's you'd be hard pressed to find a day where the sun is going to be much brighter than it is.
Well, the track temperature is actually down a degree, believe it or not.
Really?
I think we started at 85 and it's only 84.
Interesting.
Let's go ahead and take you inside what sitting in a pack is like. We're going to go ahead and go on board with Brantley Gainey here. He is 4th in line on the bottom. I just want you to feel like what it is to be boxed in here where he is. And pay attention, he's feathering the throttle a little bit when he gets a run to the truck in front of him to stay away from him. Not full throttle all the way around here.
Expecting the first trucks from this group onto pit road within the next 5 to 10 laps. Probably closer to 5. And Scott Patton, Justin Michael, James Lehman have made up a 2.5 seconds on this group of running as a trio. So they've gotten the time back that they lost by going back to pick up James. And I have the timestamps. It was 10 seconds from when Scott Patton left pit road to when James Lehman left pit road. So that is not an insignificant amount of time. As here goes Caleb Bensey, not quite clear. They had half that truck out in front of Garrett Rainey. I'm surprised with the fact that nobody has tried to do what Bandit Motorsports has done and maybe find a 2 or 3 truck contingent and try to break away.
Yeah, I mean, you're at the point here where you're definitely good on fuel to the end if you were to come in now. I'm actually surprised that this entire group didn't come in right around 30 laps to go because you would have less fuel to put in the trucks at that point. Quicker pit stops. I think maybe a little bit of a misstep on the part of the entire field here.
How it plays out. Caution free so far. But who's to say that isn't going to change here as Garrett Rainey's still blinking a little bit up front.
Well, if it's anything to compare to the race we had yesterday in real life, this is kind of shaping up to be sort of the same.
Unlike yesterday, we'll be limited to 3 green-white checkered attempts here tonight if things really go south. Oh, speaking of going south, from the top to the bottom, Caleb Bensey takes the lead outright. New leader, 29. Bensey was on track for a podium last week and ran out of gas with about 4 corners left to go at Interlagos. Still finishing 4th, though. And here comes Gavin Sanders. He leads the outside line, but don't forget, he is 1 lap down. So this is for him to unlap himself out front. And I think Bensey is going to let him in, and he does.
All right, so
it's Bensey, the leader, with Sanders in front of him. Now Bartel and Reynolds once again working the outside, with Roland Holt in tow as well. TJ Bartel led across the line that time.
Bartel's been strong here. I haven't really talked about him a ton tonight, but he's been up there towards the front of this pack all night long. And now he's able to clear Sanders. This is a lot of what we saw in the beginning of the race, that outside line, able to put runs together and push that front truck. Oh, and here come pit stops. Oh, there's an incident, a couple around it looked like. Radel, one of them for sure.
Radel and Thomas on pit entry.
Oh.
And Troy Thomas picks up a meatball. I think that is probably why he elected to tow there. Oh, Bartel, Sanders, Bensey get out of shape down the back straightaway there. Breaks up that inside line.
Nobody from this group comes.
I believe Michael Fish and Hunter Leach are going to be pitting this time.
Not sure what happened to Ryan Dye. Looks like he came into the pits by himself here.
Yes, he did. Oh, Sanders!
Oh! Sanders gets turned by Bensey.
Well,
Man,
he got on the apron. He got on the apron first, is what happened. Steve Roman just went around as well.
Front group goes again. Stretching it out as far as they can go.
Oh, Bandit Motorsports! They all just wrecked! What just happened? James Lehman, Justin Michael, Scott Patton all went spinning. I think Scott Patton got it gathered up, but the other two did not.
Let's take a look at the replay, and I think Michael just gets turned while they were pushing. It's Patton, Lehman, Michael from the back to the front. And I think Lehman just kind of pushes him on the right side. Try to get a little bit of a better look here. Yeah, he's pushing just basically on this right side of the bumper, and it's just going to turn Justin Michael right into the outside wall. Oh, and Lehman tries to back off, so Patton turns Lehman to the inside. Patton gets away safely.
Strategy goes kaput.
Wow.
For the time being, anyway.
If that thing goes green, I mean, those three have the podium. I think Lehman was actually able to corral this thing. He did get into the grass, but he never hit a wall or anything like that. But Justin Michael was hard into the outside And here we go.
So here comes most of everybody. Ryan Dye, I believe, is going to get the lucky dog here.
Looks like Patton stays out. And there are 4 trucks in line to get a lap back.
Hunter Leach, Michael Fish, Dakota DeMade, who I believe is 2 laps down, and Steve Vroman. So Vroman, Fish, and Leach will be on the lead lap. Dakota DeMade will be back to 1 lap down. That should leave us, I believe, with Joe Yakes, Anthony Radel, and Justin Michael being 1 lap down.
And I believe Gavin Sanders also, is that right?
Yes, Gavin Sanders a lap down as well.
So, yes, Justin Watson, to answer that question, yes. Mike stayed out in front of the leaders behind the pace car, so they will get the wave around here.
The intensity really could ratchet up here. Actually, probably is not the right word. I think it's going to.
And as it does, what you want to kind of keep in mind here a little bit is that outside line, how well it was working. So the outside line, you were able to push out towards the front and get that front truck clear. So if you're wanting to make moves, that outside line is where you're going to want to be. Now, if you're worried about potential incidents and you want to avoid them, you're really going to want to be more on the inside line, so you have a little bit of an escape route. So you gotta choose your spots wisely here. There it is. There's the line as old as time. Do you see it?
I'm dealing with stuff right now. Hold on.
It's in the chat. Jacob Nagy, there might be some rubbing and tugging coming. There's definitely going to be some rubbing. As Joe Yakes, who is also still a lap down, he's going to go to the back of the line here. As the pace car should pull off here in just a second, it will. And it's our first restart of the race. We will take the green flag. 13 to go. Good jump there on the bottom. That's Patton and Lehman together. Bartel third on the inside.
Teammates letting each other into line here. Now watch for this outside to maybe get up and going.
McKinnon's back at it on the front, in the front on the outside lane. This is where he was to start the race, and it worked.
And you know McKinnon is, at this point in the race, is going to be getting after it.
Oh, there's not a time in any race that he's not aggressive, especially with 12 to go now.
Lehman backs off a little bit and now is given the big shot to Patton on the inside. McKinnon leads that last time by, but he is not cleared down as of yet. Top line seems to have the advantage down the back straightaway, but the help has got to come. Patton up the block. McKinnon still gets to the outside of him, though.
Oh, and Patton's going to be stuck in the middle.
Wow, Michael! Oh, Michael gets turned. We're going to keep it green. He was the only one. He tried to fit it into a slot that had closed up.
And we're 3 wide there, a couple rows back, and there was some contact coming out of turn 4.
3 wide for third now. The battle for the lead is on. Here comes Roland Holt to the outside.
Oh, and Holt's going to be left out to dry. Nobody to help.
Oh, there we go.
Turn on the outside.
That's the big one. That is almost everybody.
Oh, and they're still wrecking in the front.
Holy cow.
Oh, my goodness.
Ellison, Patton, McKinnon, Holt, Gainey, Reynolds, Bartell, Zittel, Peterson, Leach, Houston, Salamone,
Where do you begin?
Sanders, Froman, Radel, Lehman, Bensey. Good God. That is almost everybody. I think Justin Michael's actually going to be happy that he got turned down the back straightaway because he is going to be one of the only trucks left after that.
Wow.
Unreal.
I got to find out where I'm even supposed to begin on this one.
Well, I think it starts with a bad bump from Patton to McKinnon, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or a netcode bad bump.
Yeah, let's back it up a little bit here. So Patton is pushing McKinnon on the outside here. That's Lehman in the 05. McKinnon just gets a little bit loose. He drops down a half a lane, and Patton continues to push on the right side. Had nowhere to go. Ellison was right behind him. That turns McKinnon into the outside wall, and everybody is going to be scrambling from here. Let me see if I can get a better view. Than what I currently have. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. And this is where everybody is going to pile in. And this is actually farther up. This is past a few trucks that got through that initial incident. They are still wrecking deep into turn 3. That was Poliski, Houston, Rainey, Ellison that was involved a little bit after that initial contact. Good Lord. We're going to do it again.
Yeah. Holy cow. Let me read you the list of drivers that got a meatball flag out of that. It may be shorter than you think, actually. Scott Patton, Roland Holt, Jeremy McKinnon, Paul Ellison, Nathan Reynolds, Jacob Houston, Anthony Radel, Brantley Gainey, Will Salamone, Garrett Rainey. Those are the drivers with meatball flags after that one. Nathan Reynolds has already got his cleared. So he should stay on the lead lap. But everybody else still in the pits. Anthony Radel joins the cleared meatball as well.
Yeah, and Justin Watson said, not my boy, but you're right, it was not your boy. Michael Fish still looking pretty clean here. He's going to be restarting 5th.
So Gavin Sanders was the first truck one lap down when the caution came out. However, he picked up a 4X, which means that the sim automatically is not going to give him the lucky dog. The lucky dog instead goes to Joe Yates.
Oh, what a gift for Joe Yakes. He's been down pretty much this entire race after the initial pit stops. And, wow, he needed that one desperately, and he got it.
So we're going to be coming to 7 laps to go. We have 12 trucks on the lead lap. I would imagine that he is probably, or who is he? I would imagine most of these trucks have damage.
Of some sort, yes. You would think. I'm looking at Hunter Leach here, who we do not see up front too often. You could definitely see that front bumper is crinkled up darn good. I'm hoping that he does have enough power to at least get going at a good clip here.
So let's roll you through the trucks here on the lead lap. Kyle Zittel, Ryan Dye. State Line Racing teammates will lead the field of green. Then it is Hunter Leach and Caleb Bensey on row 2. Michael Fish, Andy Poliski on row 3. Steve Roman, Joe Yakes, row 4. James Lehman, Nathan Reynolds, row 5. TJ Bartell, Jeremy McKinnon. Oh, boy.
Here they come, partner.
7 laps to go. Bensey, not one to fall in line, jumps to the outside.
Zittel leads it, Dye in second. But not for long. Bensey's making a surge on the outside.
Oh,
they're
police
turned!
more problems. Luke Peterson, Steve Roman, Gavin Sanders. That could have been a lot bigger than it was. The caution is out regardless. After a big move there from Andy Poliski, really sort of jumbled things up behind.
Well, this is a little bit what we thought we might get if we had a caution, indeed. Back it up just a bit here. And who is that? Is that Peterson that got turned?
Believe so.
There it is. It's Peterson that gets turned. It's Vroman that's behind him. And Peterson has a really crinkled truck here. Oh, actually, Vroman just goes out to the right of him and comes right across the bumper. A little bit of netcode contact with Vroman afterwards as well. And Sanders just dives it into the grass to try to avoid this one. Oh, Justin Michael nearly got into it again. He is able to escape. You can see Sanders, who avoided way down there in the grass. But minimal damage for most. I think Peterson's probably going to get the worst of it.
Peterson and Vroman. I mean, Peterson was inside of Steve Roman's cockpit at one point, just because of, I don't know, some bad latency between one of the two of them.
And we have a lot of takers on pit road here. Those that stay out, Zittel, Poliski, Ryan Dye, Caleb Bensey, and Michael Fish. Goodness gracious, the left side of Poliski's truck is so banged up, I couldn't even tell what number it was.
And if you noticed at the tail end of that replay, Dakota DeMade, who took the wave around on the last caution, was running side by side with Justin Michael. And Dakota DeMade nosed Michael out for the lucky dog.
Oh.
So Michael's still trapped one lap down here. Now it's only him and Gavin Sanders who are one lap down at this point. Jeremy McKinnon, who I mentioned was on the lead lap, coming to that restart. I believe he has since retired from the race, or is at least... no, actually, he came down to get more damage fixed. He's actually back out on track now, right behind Justin Michael. So he is 3 laps down, though, regardless. All right, partner, it's a late race restart. We've seen small groups be of a similar efficiency to big groups. And we've seen these drivers, after the first caution came out, they have absolutely not let up off the throttle.
Well, no, and they're not going to here either.
No.
But we're going to be restarting with 3 to go, and it's going to be all-out mayhem. If it was me personally, I wouldn't be lifting for anybody. So I'm sure that most of our drivers here are not going to be lifting for anybody either.
So it'll be, again, State Line Racing teammates on the bottom. Kinda decent Kyle Zittel. And ravishing Ryan Dye. That's
Wow.
not his nickname, but we're going with it. I like it.
I think he's going to like it, too.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like we're all going to have a lot of things to talk about after this race. Probably not all of them good. But it'll be Kyle Zittel and Andy Poliski on the front row. Once again, 12 trucks back on the lead lap. Ryan Dye, Caleb Bensi, row 2. Great pushers, aggressive pushers. They will all absolutely leave whoever they are pushing out to dry when push comes to shove, quite literally. And then how about it? The underdog row 3. Michael Fish on the inside, Hunter Leach on the outside. And then James Lehman, Justin Michael, Joe Yates a little bit further back, pulling up into line on the outside here. Anything can happen with 3 laps to go at Talladega. This is still regulation. Next caution, if we get another one, will not be. Are we done with cautions?
I'd like to say so, but I'm not sure.
Here we go. Good jump for Zittel. Bensi leaves Poliski out, jumps to the bottom.
If he can clear, this move is going to work. Hunter Leach, pretty slow on that restart there. Is not going to give Poliski any help for now. That lane is starting to surge now.
Leach with help from the Bandit boys.
Oh,
The two
Leach
that are
gets
left anyway.
a little loose out there.
Coming to 2 to go.
It's a 4-car break on the bottom right now. That's Zittel, Dye, Bensi, Michael Fish. Fish
Fish
jumps
to the
to the
top.
outside.
Fish looking for some help from Poliski. 2 to go.
That outside line just cannot get anything formed up right now. Man, they are
Here goes
really squirrely in the back.
Bensi to the top. Big surge coming here from the top side. Michael a little bit loose, stacks him up. Leach into the wall. He's going to stay green. We're coming to the white flag. We're going to get it done in regulation. 1 lap to go. Lehman and Michael behind. Out of shape, but the white flag is out.
And that's going to hurt the outside line here. They were formed up, but it's 4 on 4. Top versus bottom. Who's going to be able to take it?
It's Kyle Zittel leading the way. Fish with a bump to Bensi. Oh, too hard!
Turn!
There they go! It's a 2-truck race.
And Joe Yank squeezes through as well.
Joe Yakes to third. It's state line teammates to bring it home to the line. Who is going to get it done? Kyle Zittel is going to bring it to the line to win it at Daytona. Yakes to third. Hunter Leach is going to finish in fourth. James Lehman was in the grass in the infield. He finishes in fifth. Bency sixth. Dakota DeMade seventh. Michael Fish will bring it home in eighth. For the second week in a row, Andy Poliski ninth. Steve Vroman. Oh my gosh.
Wow, we were not short of fireworks there at the end of that one, my friend.
Well,
I'm sure we're not short of fireworks in the driver chat either.
no, probably not. But how about it for Kyle Zittel? Arguably, he had the race won at Talladega before getting tangled up with lap traffic with 2 laps to go. It took him out of it. He still brought it home for a top 10 after leading the most laps and taking the pole. This time, it's the flip side. He gets out front and brings it home late in the going with help from teammate Ryan Dye, who is a bridesmaid once again at the Superspeedway.
Well, Ryan Dye stayed true to his teammate here.
Oh my gosh! Zittel going underneath of Ryan Dye. And all the bad luck that we have given to Kyle Zittel. He ran so well in the Venom Truck Series this season and still only came away with a couple of top 10s. It wasn't fair.
Well, you called out the old nickname, kind of decent Kyle Zittel. I think after this one, he's going to want you to use that one maybe a lot more.
Well, let's I guess let's give a quick pop through the finishing order here. I did mention pretty much everybody, but Kyle Zittel, Ryan Dye, Joe Yakes. We'll talk to all three of these gentlemen momentarily. Hunter Leach, Caleb Bency, then round out your top 5. Michael Fish actually finishes in 6th. He hadn't crossed the line yet when I called him out. So he picks up his best career finish in Truck 200. Dakota DeMade, a 7th place finish, then Andy Poliski in 8th. Steve Vroman, then we'll finish P9. TJ Bartell rounds out your top 10. Nathan Reynolds in 11th. The last truck on the lead lap then is Justin Michael, James Lehman, teammates 12th and 13th. Gavin Sanders in 14th. Garrett Rainey then P15. 3 laps down. Jeremy McKinnon in 16th. Anthony Radel 17th. Luke Peterson, Will Salamone, Paul Ellison round out your top 20. Then it's throughout the rest of the field. I'm not sure who of these gentlemen running, but they all came out here tonight, so give them as much love as we can. Jacob Houston came back out here for the first time in a couple of weeks. Great to see him out. Unfortunately, not going to get a good finish here tonight. 21st for him. Roland Holt, 22nd. The pole sitter falls 21 spots here tonight. Brantley Gating, 23rd. Scott Patton, 24th, after having arguably the winning strategy on lock. Troy Thomas, 25th. Jeff Smith, 26th. Adam Cantwell, Jeff Langston, 27th and 28th in final position here. And now I think it's time for some podium interviews. How about it, partner?
Let's do it.
We'll start with our points leader and our, I guess, over the radio, you said you weren't expecting this kind of a finish, especially after how your day started. I might have to agree with you, but it's a 3rd place finish nonetheless for Joe Yakes. How about it?
Man, I am in complete shock right now.
Well, talk me through your race. I think you were involved in one of the few pit road melees that we had.
Yeah, I was involved in the first one. I saw Justin and his team. They pit early, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I should have just gone with those guys. And then we're coming around, and then the entire field pit at once. Nobody called it out. And I'm like, well, I got to go. And my teammate, who says hello, by the way, he kind of locked them up and got into me and put a minute of damage on the truck. But luckily, it was all arrows, so it wasn't engine damage. So I knew, like, if things kind of fell the right way, I can get it fixed, and we can make a run for it. And, you know, we're coming in for the second round of pit stops, and I was starting to get frustrated because I saw, like, I was dodging cars left and right going down the racetrack, and there was no caution. I'm like, what's going on with this? But then we did eventually get one. which kind of allowed me to get caught back up. We got some lucky dogs, and we just never gave up at all tonight, as frustrating as it was. And here we are, P3. How about that?
And I appreciate the polite call out over the radio for some of those as well. I think I missed a couple of them, but nevertheless, appreciate that. Matt, what do you got for Joe here?
Well, it was like you already mentioned, an up and down night for you, and ultimately ends on a podium. Talk me through the last couple of restarts. I mean, nothing but absolute mayhem. Specifically, that very last incident. What did it look like trying to squeeze through that one?
I mean, I kind of just kept the throttle in it and shut my eyes when I saw trucks flying all over the place. And, I got through it and didn't lose control and was like, oh, okay, we'll just finish P3 then.
All righty. Shout outs for you here tonight.
Yeah, I want to shout out my team at HTD Motorsports. Adam, he had a rough night. He was kind of upset with the incident on pit road, but everything's okay there. We're working together tonight and just trying to get a good strategy. And I want to shout out my community over on Glimish. They're riding along with me tonight, and like they do every night. And it's always good to represent Glimish on the car every race.
Now I got to ask, with Justin Michael finishing down in P12, how do you feel about our final two races here, Phoenix and Auto Club?
I'm feeling a lot better about it than I was about 30 minutes ago. No, I'm excited. Phoenix is a fun track with these trucks, and Auto Club is the same way. I got lucky. He didn't show up for the Interlagos race and made a big points night. So, I came into this race. I'm like, I just need to look after the truck, get a solid finish, and then we can go do everything we've been doing all season at these final two races. And I wound up in an even better position now than I was before. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I was going to say, I think P3 is pretty solid. So you can sleep a little easier here tonight, but big congrats on the podium.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All righty, let's talk to our runner-up finisher again in super speedway competition. That is the one and only Mr. Ryan Dye. A little bit further away than you were from the stripe this last time when the leader crossed, but it's got to feel a little bit better, I guess, knowing who actually won the race this time.
Yeah, my teammate won the race. I'm pumped. Oh my God, I'm so pumped.
Well, that was a race, and it did happen. How do you feel about tonight as a whole? Talk me through your night.
So I'm very excited that I guess they wrecked to bring out that yellow, I don't know, 15-ish to go or whatever. Because when we were pitting before on that second pit stop, I saw somebody spin behind me and spin up onto the racetrack, and I didn't know what was going to happen, whether or not he would hit somebody and the yellow would come out or not. So I took the last second to dive back up onto the racetrack, thinking if there's a yellow coming out, I don't want to get caught. I'll get back up on the track and just come around the pit. And that obviously the yellow didn't come out, so I was lapped down. And had that wreck not happen to me being the lucky dog, then none of this is possible. So thank you to whoever wrecked, I guess. But I had a blast. It's great. I love this track. I love racing here. I love coming from the back to the front like that. Is so much fun. It's fun to push your teammate to a win too. There was never any chance of me stepping out. I was going to push him to the end of time.
Well, that's lovely to hear. Matt, what do you got for
Ryan, talk me through, you said you had to come from the back. You were lapped down. In this truck with this setup specifically, to me, when I practiced in it, it felt a little bit different than what I'm normally used to. What was it like trying to work through the field with this setup here?
So it felt like just the first couple of laps, it was almost sluggish to get going. But then once it got up, and you're running normal speed and you're in the draft and all that sort of stuff, I don't know that it ever really felt that much different to me. It still felt, like you if you were pushing, you were going to go a little bit loose on the back end, depending on where other people were, how the air was going to work, all that sort of stuff. To me, it just felt normal, other than the first couple of laps, just feeling like it needed some time to get going. Kind of like a diesel, I guess. But yeah, I mean, to me, it felt fine. I was happy with it. I like that it's different than a regular fixed setup in this league. I just like the challenge of relearning something that has at this point become so natural over 2 years into the sim.
Well, shout outs for you here tonight. You certainly earned them.
Shout out to my team, which is just me and Ziddle. Shout out to him for winning the whole dang thing. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting this, and then for obviously for hosting this league. Love you guys, and shout out to midget racing just for Matt.
I do love me some midget racing.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Oh, brother. All right. Well, we're gonna get subpoenaed here if we keep you in the booth for much longer, I think. So we'll let you skedaddle, but awesome job here tonight. Way to keep after it, and way to bring home another P2.
Thanks, y'all. See you next week, wherever we're racing at. I don't even know.
Phoenix.
Phoenix, great. See you at Phoenix.
Oh man. All right. I am excited for this. Are you excited?
I am more than excited. It's overdue for certain.
Here we go. Here we go. Top spot, Kyle Ziddle. Good news, you passed post race tech. Congratulations. And now you're a winner in Truck 200. How about that?
Man, how about that? That's nuts. You go from winning the first pole in a fluke situation to winning at probably my favorite racetrack in anywhere.
Well, talk me through your race, because I don't think it was always sunshine and rainbows for you.
No, I mean, we were just kind of hanging out, top 15, just kind of hanging out, waiting for the first pit stop, which is what I try to do all the time here. It's just, there's nowhere to go. No need to push or make hay or anything like that. And then when we did come down, we were kind of just hung out. We didn't know if we were ever going to catch up to those top three that pitted early. But everything just kind of fell into place after that.
Matt, what do you got for a race winner here?
First of all, huge congratulations to you. I want to talk about working together with other drivers here. Of course, this is a new league. I know that you are familiar with quite a few that were here, but we've really only had one opportunity this season to run super speedway style racing, and we've had quite a few join in the middle of the season. Coming into a race like tonight, are you a little more hesitant than you usually would be, not knowing exactly how they're all going to race, or what are your thoughts going into something like this?
I mean, what I thought was where I was starting was going to dictate what I wanted to do. Based on where I started, I was just going to be hanging out, starting 14th. Just gonna, hang out with everybody. I knew a lot of the guys I was starting around, and that made it a lot easier. And just lining up, getting together, and then just kind of scoping everybody else out, seeing, oh, that guy makes a move I don't really like, or this guy pushes, down the backstretch perfectly. So, let's line up. But I mean, yeah, it was just watching everybody and making sure that we were all gonna hook up together.
Well, partner, this is great. This is very cool. Let's get some shout outs going for you. Let's get a big old scroll out for you and just start naming people left and right. Who you got?
Just thanking all the guys in Venom. We race together. We're hooked up together. We do a lot of racing together. It's always a heck of a lot of fun. Ryan for being a teammate, pushing me to the win, staying on my bumper, just like when I won in Venom at Daytona. Paul pushed me all the way to the win. He wasn't going anywhere, and neither was Ryan. Just want to thank you guys for everything that you guys do, setting it up, making it fun. I want to thank my wife. She puts up with all my nonsense. And that's about it.
Alrighty, I think there's some partying to be had, and luckily you don't have a race tomorrow, so you can you could probably go a little bit longer than you would normally do. So
a little bit.
Well, John's gonna be mad he missed this one, I think. because this is a big deal. We're happy that you could get it done here tonight. Man, big congratulations. Go party yourself out. Go tucker yourself out here with a big old party. I think you earned it.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
How about Hunter Leach in fourth? That's awesome. That's
awesome.
And why does he run number 199?
He runs number 199 because his good old pal Mart used to run the old 199, and he wanted to be like me today. So the fourth place finish is about right. No wins, but not being way towards the back of the field either. I talked to him a little bit before the race, and his teammate Brad Saxton wasn't here tonight, so he wasn't quite sure. He was kind of feeling a little bit lonely out there. I think he found a couple people to work with for a little while, and after all the chaos, he has a great finish.
All righty. That's a wrap on Daytona. Anything else you want to say about tonight before we pack it up and move on?
Well, as always, you know what I like to do. I like to go back and thank everybody that chatted with us here tonight. William Leach, Odd Potato, Melissa Reynolds was here, David Helton, Justin Watson, Jeff Smith, Jacob Nagy was in the chat. Shout out to Nagy. Mike Bensey was here as well, rooting on Caleb there towards the end. So thank you to everybody that came out and chatted with us here tonight. I know there were maybe some comments about cautions and different things. I don't know, maybe we didn't explain it too well, but usually we only throw those for multiple truck cautions, and we got a lot of one truckers here tonight, but not a lot of 2 or 3 truckers, so that's why there weren't more cautions here tonight. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and take my portion of the blame of that publicly and privately to the rest of the drivers here. But some discussion to be had, I'm sure. But that's a wrap on Daytona. Now we've got 2 more races this season, just 2 more opportunities for these drivers to get after it. The next time we will be on air, because again, the Venom Truck Series Season 5 is over. So no Tuesday broadcasts for a few more weeks yet. So next time we'll be in action. We'll be right back here on next Monday for the Desert Duel 200, where we will have the penultimate round of the inaugural championship season right here for you, live from virtual Phoenix Raceway. And that is how we're going to leave things here tonight for the greatest stream producer of all time, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. I've been Tommy Cook. Until we meet again here on Turn 200, we say so long from the virtual world's center of racing, where the sun shines brightly on a Kyle Zittel win at Daytona. Can you believe it?